everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dig into the nitty-gritty of corporate filings so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Associated Capital Group, or AC Group's laid it under the rug. Turns out their latest financial snapshot reveals a mixed bag of investment gains offset by some pretty noticeable revenue hiccups. In this episode, we explore what this financial result may mean for their investors' EMT. If you'd like to learn more and want straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can find other smart folks talking about company performance, so make sure you join it after watching this video. Associated Capital Group is basically an investment firm. They manage money for other people, hoping to make a profit. They also invest their own money, kind of like betting on themselves. They mostly focus-trudge portfolios and event-driven value strategies. Think of it as a slightly more adventurous corner of the investment world. Let's get straight to the numbers because that's what really tells the story. Total revenues for the quarter were $2.1 million in the same period last year. The bulk of this comes from investment advisory fees, which were almost $1 million lower than last year. Basically, they're earning less money from managing investments. Not a great start. Now, expenses. Compensation expenses actually went up $4.4 million compared to $3.80 if you're paying their people more despite earning less. They also have something called management fee, which is paid to the executive chair or his people. This also went down from almost $2 million to just over $1 million. All this means that their operating loss is more than $5 million now. It's not all doom and gloom because they managed to pull a rabbit from their hat by investment gains. The company saw a gain from its own investments. This was enough to push them into profit, but still lower than the year prior. These gains are primarily from merger arbitrage, basically betting on company takeovers. If those deals happen, AC Group makes money. If they don't, it's a loss. After all is said and done, net income attributable to Associated Capital Group's shareholders ended up at $77 million. They pulled in the same quarter last year. This translates to $0.36 for one last year. This translates to $0.30 LFR. Let's take a quick look at their balance sheet to see what they own and what they owe. Total assets are at $933.3 million, and it's basically unchanged from the end of last year. Most of that is in cash, treasury bills, and investments. Total liabilities are low, and the company's equity or ownership stake is at $899 million. The statement of cash flows is also telling. They ended the quarter with $317.4 million in cash, which is less than the beginning of the year. $300 burning cash for the period, but nothing too alarming as of yet. Now let's talk a little about the company itself. They're in the business of managing investments, mainly in the alternative space. This means they're not your typical stock and bond managers. They're doing risk arbitrage and equity event-driven value strategies. Most of their money comes from investment advisory and incentive fees. They charge a percentage of the assets they manage, and they also get a cut of the profits they make for their clients. The money they manage affects revenue. Let's check out their investments. They have more than $274 million in investments, including US Treasury bills and stocks, while owing $8.8 million shorting them. The company invests in other partnerships and entities, and some of these are consolidated into their financial statements. That means their assets and liabilities are combined with AC Group's numbers. At March of 2025, we're talking about an $8.7 million difference between unconsolidated and consolidated and consolidated and use, and slightly less on December of 2024. Like every other company, they are subject to the risk of getting sued. There's nothing out of the ordinary that we can see on this filing, so all good. A quick one for the shareholders. The report mentions that the company had basic and diluted EPS, earnings per share of $0.364. In terms of shares and equity, the group grants shares to employee as phantom shares and expenses that too. Furthermore, the group bought back some shares for $1.4 million. Let's quickly go through the section about fair value of their assets. Companies need to estimate the fair value assets to be reported. Some assets are easy to value because they are actively traded like stocks. Level 1 or similar assets exist level 2, but some of them are hard, so companies need to evaluate what those assets could be worth. This part is their best guess, level 3. This includes preferred securities issued by closed-end funds that is valued at $49 million, the more than $73 bidding $9 total value of assets. And a final quick one, Associated Capital Group operates in one segment, the investment advisory and alternative asset management business. Finally, a quick look at the later event post-report. It bought back another 7,796 shares at an average price of $34.28. They also declared a dividend payable on June 26. Now, putting it all together, where does AC Group stand? Well, they're facing a few headwinds. Revenues are down and their investment gains are less impressive than last year. However, they have a solid pile of cash and investments, so they're not exactly in a crisis. Their reliance on volatile alternative investments means their performance can swing wildly, so that's certainly a risk. But they seem to be managing expenses fairly well and are returning some value to shareholders through buybacks and dividends. The company seems to be doing what they can to make sure that they return value to the shareholders of the company. Let's be honest, numbers aside, it could be worse. Alright, that's our breakdown of AC Group's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description to find other people to talk with. Thanks for watching. See you next time.